My Bestie Used Magic to Seduce My Man is the name of tonight's story, and it features two girls, Annika and Brittany. Now, Annika and Brittany have been ride or die since middle school, and Annika recently started dating a man named Eric. Now, everything appears cool at first. Annika is still prioritizing her relationship with Brittany, and she also makes time to hang out with the two of them together, so as a trio. Now, as time goes on, Annika starts noticing a shift in Brittany's behavior. She seems like she's kind of reserved and doesn't really like being around both Annika and Eric. And that's when Annika starts thinking that Brittany might be jealous. Though she'll catch Brittany saying some slick stuff periodically, wondering why he's always around and how they never have time to hang out and how all she does is fixate on this man that she just got and she's changed a lot, yada yada. We've all heard the script. But on the flip side of that, Annika is also noticing that whenever the three of them hang out as a trio, Brittany will do things to isolate both her and Eric together. So she'll send Annika to the store or send her to get food or set a time that's a little bit before the actual time something is supposed to start, so that Annika will show up at, we'll say, like 8 o'clock, but she'll invite Eric to get there at like 7:45. So just weird small stuff like that. Now there's one night in October, so a couple of months after Annika and Eric start dating, where the three of them are supposed to hang out at a fall carnival. Well, that night Eric cancels. He's got practice or homework or something. And shortly after, she gets a text from Brittany saying that Brittany's canceling as well. And Annika's like, hell yeah, I wanted to stay at the house anyways. So she's like, I'll just see the two of them at school on Monday. She goes through her whole weekend. There's no problem. So Monday rolls around and Annika goes to school. And that's when she's looking for her boyfriend. Can't find him. And she also starts looking for her best friend. Can't find them. And she ends up going to like this far end of the gym. And that's when she sees the two of them sitting on the bleachers. On the entire time that she's known the both of them, she's never observed either one of them being affectionate towards the other. But today, Brittany looks like she's a little flirtatious towards Eric, but again, maybe she's just being friendly. She's starting to warm up. She has this really bubbly personality towards everyone else, so perhaps she's just coming around to the guy. And Eric seems to be receiving that attention really well. So Annika walks over to the two of them. They start their small talk, go over what they did that weekend, what they plan to do that week, and the school day goes off without a hitch. So Annika gets home that afternoon, and for some reason, she is just dog tired. So she takes a nap, and that's when she has the worst dream. Now, she doesn't remember it, but it was bad enough for her to wake up from the nap. And so she gets up, takes her shower, does her homework, and that's it. She doesn't think anything of it until she goes to bed that night. She's lying down and she drifts off, and that's when the nightmares start. Now, one night of bad nightmares is odd but reasonable. But weeks of bad nightmares, however, is unusual. And Annika, for the life of her, cannot figure out where the source is. She's got nothing going on. She thinks it might be her medication. She's subtracting things out of her diet. She's just trying to get to the bottom of it. But there's one night in particular where the dream was so bad and felt so real that it woke her out of her sleep. So she sits in bed and she feels like she's just covered in this sticky substance. The dream that she was having was one where bugs were crawling all over her. And one of the things that she noticed when she went to the bathroom to change was how viscous the sweat felt. She'd never had sweat like this. Now, she has sweated in her sleep before, but nothing as thick as this, and she couldn't explain why that would happen. In fact, as she was taking off her nightgown, she would describe the feeling as going to the gym and sitting around in damp clothes. You know that feeling where all of your stuff is sticky? It felt like that. So she cleaned herself up, took another shower, changed into a new set of PJs, and did her level best to get some rest. Of course, she wasn't successful because another bad dream occurred. So she was happy to get to school the next day. But things would go from bad to worse for Annika because as soon as she walked in the building, the first face she was greeted by was Eric's. And as she looked at his face, she could tell that there was something wrong. A pit formed in her stomach, and she knew what was going to happen. Eric planned on breaking up with her. And by lunch that day, Annika was a newly single woman. A devastated single woman, but a single woman nonetheless. And so she did what every girl would do and called her best friend. And Brittany had a weird response when she picked up the phone. She seemed really annoyed, but Annika asked if she could come over, and Brittany let her. So later on that day, Annika went over to Brittany's house, and they're chilling in Brittany's room. Brittany seems distracted. She's on her phone playing and talking to somebody. And Annika, she was just out of it. But Brittany leaves to go to the bathroom, and as Annika is sitting on the bed, her spidey senses start going off. Now again, Annika doesn't believe herself to be superstitious, but there was just something about the room that day that was off from the other days that she had been over there over the course of their friendship. And something tells her to go check the nightstand. So Annika heads over, pulls out the drawer, and she's fiddling around in there quietly. And eventually she reaches in the far back corner and she feels something. It's sticky and gross, but she pulls it out, and there's this mason jar full of honey. There's other stuff in there as well. A piece of notebook paper with a name that's long bled off, and a picture with a face that she recognized. Eric. So she puts the thing back in the drawer and she's trying to wipe the honey off on her outfit. That's when she starts getting mad. And now she's looking for evidence. So she grabs Brittany's iPad, which is on the bed, and she's trying to get into the text messages, but she can't. She can't get into the photos either, but she can't get into her Google. And so she looks at Brittany's search history, and the results are terrifying. how to seduce a man, how to know if a guy likes you, how to know if a man is more interested in you than your friend, how do you break up a relationship. And that's when she saw something that would make her skin crawl. Spells for obsession, spells for romance, spells to break people up. And that's when Annika starts doing that math extra fast. She's connecting the dots at lightning speed at this point. But this is when something tells Annika that she just needs to leave. Now, Annika didn't think herself a fool, and she realized that what she was looking at was beyond her. This was now spiritual warfare. And so she grabbed her shit and got out of Brittany's house without even saying so much as a goodbye. Because Annika didn't realize that Brittany was into stuff like that. One, that was shocking to her. And two, she wasn't prepared to deal with the fact that her best friend betrayed her in such a malicious way. Because it's not like Brittany wasn't pretty. It's not like Brittany couldn't get any guy she wanted. And it's not like Brittany even expressed any interest in Eric. And had she done so, Annika would have just fallen back. But it all caught her off guard. And so that night when she got home, the first thing she did was block each one of them on every single platform she could think of. She blocked their cell phone numbers. At school the next day, she avoided them to the best of her abilities. She passed her in the hallway, didn't speak, because at this point, Annika realized that the girl she was dealing with was not her best friend. And sadly, she knew deep down inside that with this level of manipulation, there's really not much you could do. But I want to know what you guys are thinking about this situation. Could it be that there was just infidelity at play? Could it be that there was some spell work used to manipulate Eric into being with Brittany? Could it just be that the two of them were attracted to each other and didn't know how to tell Annika? I want to know what you guys are thinking in the comments, and I will see you guys in my next video.